Hi, this is Joey CPA. I wanted to showcase my firm's tax return organizer for the 2023 tax return filings. When we built this organizer, we aimed to strike a balance between making it simple and clear for our clients to fill out, while at the same time getting enough details for us as tax professionals to do a proper due diligence in order to prepare complete and accurate tax returns. We considered a lot of different factors to make this questionnaire and organizer process as streamlined as possible. And I wanted to take this time to showcase those to you. And, as tax professionals, we can get very busy during the filing season, and wherever we can save time, that's always a good thing to have. And so let's dive right in. As you can see on the left side, we have these sections built into the organizer. Some of these sections will only appear if the client responds in a certain way to certain questions. Specifically, dependents, business income, rental property, and estimated tax payments are sections that will remain hidden until the client answers that those are applicable to them. We also added all the file upload requests in the final section in this questionnaire. And as you can see, this is a very long list of requests, but we've added conditional logical rules for all of these requests so that whenever the client responds yes that something applies to them, then the request will appear for them. So if I show you the preview right now for that section specifically, you can see that there's not really any requests with no answers filled out. And so every time like a client says, oh, we have a W-2, oh, we have a rental, then the questions will then appear here. That way, when the clients get to the file upload section, they'll only see the requests that are relevant to them. And that way we can keep the amount of requests to a minimum and not confuse the clients. And we also include a recommend naming convention. This is something you can decide to keep or not in your own version of this organizer, but we generally like to ask our clients to rename the files in a specific way so that when they upload into the portal, we can easily identify what file is what. And so let's start from the beginning, and I'll showcase how this questionnaire works. The first section, the introduction section, is just a list of the instructions we want to tell our clients, as well as a couple of notes for them to keep in mind. We inform them that this questionnaire is smart, that there's conditional logic built throughout, and that the questions they may be shown will be different depending on what they have. We also call out the file upload section where that will also be adjusted depending on the responses. And the questions we ask on this section are just some introductory things. We mainly just ask for it, if is it the first year that they're working with us? And we also have questions here asking about why they're working with us now. And this question is also very important because we also built in conditional logic to only reveal certain hidden questions if they are a first-year client. Like we have a request for prior year returns in the file uploads, but we obviously don't need to request from a client if they're existing one and we have them on file from preparing the tax returns from last year. We also have questions here just about how they heard about us, just for marketing purposes. You can choose to leave them in here or not. Second section is just about personal information. We ask about their filing status. If they're claiming dependents, this question triggers the dependent question section. So here, if I answer yes, you can see that now the dependent section is appearing, but if we answer no, it's not there. And then we ask them for the mailing address. And a lot of this, we enabled autofill so that clients don't have to fill this out every single year. And then we also have questions about each taxpayer, both the primary taxpayer and then also the spouse. Here we also build in a lot of conditional logic that will show specific questions if the client answers yes to any of them. For instance, we asked about IRA and HSA contributions. And so if you click yes, then we'll ask for the amount. So if we clicked on all of these, you can see that there's several questions that remain hidden throughout here. And so this is just one of the beauties of using the conditional logic to hide a lot of the questions from the client until it becomes relevant for them. And then continuing on, we decided to split a lot of the income questions into two sections: common and other. This is just because when there's many different sources of income, and if we put all the kinds of income onto one section, it could overwhelm the client. So we decided to split the common ones from the uncommon ones. And you can always decide to choose which ones you want to keep in what. And you may have specializing certain clients in a certain area. But we went ahead with what we generally see and what we've heard what other people generally see as the kinds of incomes that a lot of their client base have. And so here you can kind of see, we ask for the basic stuff like W-2, Social Security. We also have, business income. These and rental, these both will trigger the respective sections in this questionnaire. You can see there's no business or rental here yet, but if we answer yes, then they pop up. But I'll answer one of these no just for reference later. We also asked about investments, interest, dividends, stocks. We also decided to split out some equity compensation awards just because these also have special treatments and we have special requests related to them. Like for instance, RSUs, not RSUs, like ISOs, we generally have to ask for the form 3921, and that's a specific one. But then RSUs, sometimes depending on how it's reported, there's supplemental schedules, so we also have a separate request for that. But this is the common income, and then we have other miscellaneous income, and you can always add to this list if you want, depending on if you have clients who have different kinds of income. But we have a catch-all question at the bottom. It tells the client they have other reportable income that they should upload it as well and make a note of it in the questionnaire as well. This is the rental section, and we ask about the property details, days, because these all go on the Schedule E. We also have a question about filing Form 1099, since that's also on the Schedule E. And then we also have some other questions that we'll also ask, has some conditional R2. These, if you answer yes, the file uploads will have the respective requests then included. And then also I'll go back to the income common and turn on business income, yes, just to show the business income section. So you can ask for a name. We set this up where if we list out all the business tax entities, but you can have specific questionnaires for these business entities. But since these would be separate tax returns, we don't include in this specific questionnaire. But basically, clients, there's several questions in here that that you ask the client for. We also use conditions like here, like address. If it changed, then the questions for asking for the new address pop up here so they can have it. Same thing for like business vehicle. Then also other questions will pop up here if they have it. Otherwise, it'll remain hidden. Continuing on, itemized deduction. We list all the common ones at the top, since people obviously pay attention more to things that they see first. We list out all the miscellaneous items at the bottom. And then for mortgage interest specifically, since there's a lot of limitations or rules related to it, we have a lot of questions that are hidden until they say it's applicable to them. Like we'll ask for things about the mortgage balance, since a lot of loans from more recent years are limited to $750,000 of indebtedness. So if they answer yes, they ask for details about the mortgage balance so that you could properly calculate the amount they can deduct on their tax returns. Then we have a section for a miscellaneous. This is just a catch-all for a lot of random documents that clients may or may not have. And we list them all out. But a lot of these are still required questions just because, if it's applicable to them, but they answer no, then it could cause issues like the identity protection PIN that's required in the tax return. If they are issued one, otherwise they'll get rejected. And then we also have a tax refunds and balances section. The first question on here asks about if they made estimated tax payments, and if they answer yes here, then the estimated tax payment section will also appear, and they'll ask them for details about their payments. And this section can be repeated, similar to the dependent section, for each tax entity that they pay tax for. So they could fill out for federal first, and then they could repeat the section, select state, and then pick out what state they fill out for. So we can say like California, and they can list out the payments they made to that state's tax entity. But let's go back, and here they ask for the method that the client wants to either get the refund or pay for their tax balance due. And if they select any of the bank account ones, then the questions for asking for the bank account information will also pop up here. So then let's go forward, and there's just like additional comments for anything else the client may want to provide. And then here we end up in the file upload section at the end, and just scrolling down, you can see that now there's a lot more requests here based on the responses that we filled out earlier. And so, this way we can, like I said before, we can just show the relevant items to the client and hide everything else that's not, just so that the client doesn't get overwhelmed and they could just focus on the important things to them. But anyways, this is the showcase of our tax return questionnaire. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but hope that this organizer is useful to your firm and your tax practice.